Hi, everyone. Happy Monday afternoon. I'm sorry I'm running a couple minutes late. So Charlie is in the other room and he's playing with a squeaky toy. So if you hear that background noise, that's Charlie just having fun. And I know a lot of you know Charlie and love him, so hopefully that will not be a problem today. It sounds like he's put it down already. But I have a couple cute Valentine ideas I want to share with you today. I am featuring, once again, the Queen Bee bundle because I thought I just came up with some cute things. And so I wanted to share those with you today. It is kind of a gloomy day here. There's no sunshine, so I guess we get to make our own sunshine through this Facebook Live and through our creativity. So I hope that I bring a smile to your day. I'm going to go ahead and switch my camera view. If you are there, please give me a shout out. I always like to know who's watching, and it confirms that I have actually set this up right. You know, technology is not always my friend. But hopefully some of you are joining on. So there's my sister. Yeah, she says, hi, Charlie. She knows Charlie. Anne Marie, Colleen. Colleen says, I can't believe February is almost here. No kidding. Where did the month go? It's crazy. Time flies, right? So before I share my projects today, I'm going to give away, this is the card that I made last week, and I will say everybody is loving this bunny. She is a punch, and I don't know if you know it, but we had this super cute shamrock punch, lucky clover punch, and a coordinating stamp set. We haven't had a St. Patrick's Day stamp set or punch for a long, long time. I know years ago we had a really cute one, but that punch is totally gone, and unfortunately they're not going to be bringing it back. So if you were one of the lucky ones, pun intended, I guess, if you were one of the lucky ones that got the Lucky Clover bundle, be glad because it is no longer available, which is really, really sad. But anyway, I don't know if that's going to happen with this bunny punch, but like anything, supplies are, products are just available while they last. And if you have your eye on this bunny, I would suggest hopping right to it to get an order in for that. I'm sorry, that's really corny, but this is going to my friend Laura Pachalski. So Laura, I will get this in the mail to you. Just something about this bunny, right, that makes you smile. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Judy. Hi, Marva. Hi, Anne. Okay. So I got a couple really pretty cards in the mail. This is a belated birthday card, and look how cool this is. This is from my friend Laura. Very fancy. This is like a netting type thing she used on the front of the card. Super cute. And there's some of those bee trinkets that we love. And then this is from my friend Kathy, who took my Queen Bee class, and she made this. She said, look how pretty this looks in red. And interesting because that's kind of what I'm going to do today. So her card fits in really well with my theme. But I love the collage background. And I don't know if you can see, but she has covered the Queen Bee, with Wink of Stella, so it's real shimmery and glimmery and so pretty. So thank you, Laura and Kathy, for those. So I am going to start with a little box, and I'm sort of using a play on words. I'm doing a couple candy treats today because, Valentine's Day is coming, and these things that I'm sharing, I have 3 different candy ideas for you. And I like these because these are all things that I actually got right at the grocery store. They have these, they're kind of dangerous that they're so easy to grab because they're right where you check out, at least at my grocery store. And I've seen them other places as well, but you don't have to go anywhere special to look for these. They're just right there. So I picked these up, and I'm going to be using a box that I have made before with this, but I've kind of tweaked it a little bit, and so it's kind of a totally different look. So that's the first project that I'm going to make. Okay, and you know what, Renee? I think Renee just left Charlie out, and I gave her, hold on, you know what? Hold on, I'm going to be right back. Okay, here I am, I'm back. Sorry about that. I gave her my paper with the measurements on it, And I'm going to put that right here. So I'm going to do the base of our box. It's really easy. It is going to be cut 3 1/4 by 11. So you can get several of these out of an 8 1/2 by 11 piece of cardstock. So I'm just going to cut this at 3 1/4 like that. And then I am going to use my scoring blade on the paper trimmer, and I'm going to score this along the long edge at 3/4 and 2 1/2. And I thought I would leave these measurements here if you need to refer to them if you want to make one of these. And then I'm going to score it at on the short side at 5 1/8. And I like to do that up here. It's easier for me to read the numbers there. So 5 1/8 and 5 7/8. Just like that. So there we have our box template. And I'm going to use my paper snips. Oh, here's somebody from the UK. Hi, Carol. Thank you for joining us. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to just make 4 little cuts right here. This will be the base of our box. So I'm just going to cut these straight. It's actually a pretty easy box, and it was designed to hold these tall, skinny little candies. And let me tell you, these candies are really good. Don't ask me how I know. So I'm just going to angle these a little bit like this. And I'm going to take my bone folder and just give all of these score lines a nice crease. So I'm wondering, Carol, if you were in Vienna, if you went to the convention in November in Vienna. Maybe you're not a demonstrator, but if you were, I'm wondering if I got to meet you there. Okay, so we're going to do this, and then we're just going to fold these. This will be the base of our box, and especially when you're making a box or anything that isn't flat like a card, the bone folder really does make a difference. You want to get those nice crisp folds. So I'm going to now take my glue and just for now I'm going to start with just putting a little bit of glue on these tabs. Like that. And these are going to fold. Oh, you know what? I didn't do this right. Well, okay, yes. So these are going to fold here, like that. This is a boo-boo. I'm going to wipe this glue off, and I'm going to put the glue on that side like that. Just use your hand, and then, of course, my hand's going to be sticky for the rest of this Facebook Live. But isn't that fun? I think part of doing this live is anything goes. You never know what's going to happen, right? Okay, so you want to put your glue on the outside, what would be the outside tabs when you fold those up. And this is going to go just like this. And so now what I'm going to do is put glue along these edges here. Oh, okay, Carol, so you are a demonstrator for about 1.5 years now and loving it, but you were not in Vienna. Okay, great. So I'm going to just put glue here, glue here. Hi, Judy, eating lunch from your desk. That's awesome. Judy is my friend. She's a school counselor and a demonstrator. Okay, so this is the base of our box, and now we're going to decorate it a little bit. So I have just taken 2 pieces of Designer Series paper, and I brought this pack of paper so that you can see it. This is Country Gingham, and I don't know what it is about gingham, but I feel like everybody loves gingham. Look at these pretty colors too. Mint macaron in there, petal pink, balmy blue, and sweet sorbet. So I'm using the sweet sorbet. That paper is new in our mini catalog. And you know what? I need to just give this a second here to adhere. Just for that glue to take hold. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put a piece of this designer paper, one on the front and one on the back. You wouldn't need to do it on the back, but I feel like it just finishes it. And why not? Right? We're always afraid to use our designer paper, but we have so much. And of course, you can always order more. And, you know, Stampin' Up! Is always coming out with more and more beautiful paper. I think that our designer paper is one of our best products. Well, in addition to the stamps and everything else, I guess. I like all of our products. So I'm going to have these cut lines here. I'm going to put those to the back so that the front of my box just has that fold there, the folded part, and not just this cut, although really it doesn't matter, but that's just how I want to do it. Okay, now I have some parts and pieces, and I'm going to use, I want to show you this because this is really fun. These are new dies. This is the Something Fancy bundle. This is an amazing set of dies. Great words, great coordinating dies, and I think I marked it in here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, here it is. So it's on page 17 of our mini catalog, Something Fancy, all occasion words, and then the coordinating dies that you can use, of course, to cut out all these different words. And I love these shapes. I love the words. Look at this one, grateful for the everyday magic of you. Wouldn't that be a nice card to get in the mail? Super nice. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just take, let's see here. I think this will fit. I'm going to take these two dies are the ones that I used. And then if you look at this, there are these two little shapes. They are actually made to fit inside these dies. And what you do, oh, and you know what? I didn't even notice this till now. There's a hexagon shape in there, which is perfect for our Queen Bee set, Queen Bee bundle. So what you're going to do is to die cut this. I'm going to just do it like this. I've already got one cut, but what you would do is just put this like this. It fits right in there. You run it through your die cutting machine, which you know what? Let me just do that. I have it right here. I might as well use it. It's kind of fun how that, so you could cut this just as it is and it would make a really cute tag. But what's fun about this is that you can fit this right in here like this. And I'm going to take, I don't think I need to do this, but just to be safe, rather safe than sorry, right? I'm going to just take a Post-it note and put the sticky part right over that, just to hold that in place. And I'm going to go ahead and die cut. Hi, Michelle. How are you? Thanks for watching. Hi, Marcia. Hi, Carol. Hi, Jennifer. So great to see all of you. Okay, so look what happens when you die cut this tag. You get this cute little end on it, which, isn't that cute? And like I said, I love how they did this because if you want to, you can just cut this tag separately. But I think, especially for a Valentine or depending on the occasion you need this for, it just dresses it up. It just takes it up a step. So let me get this out of the way here. This is a great set of dies. Lots of good shapes. I'll put that away like that. And actually this fits in this larger one, which probably means, I think these are, yeah. So at least for that one, you could do some fancy stuff. So then I used the bigger shape This is the mint macaron gingham, and I just left this as a regular tag, and I'm going to be layering these together for my project. So let me set these aside. I'm going to be die cutting something else in a minute here. Okay, so now Colleen is asking if Stampin' Up! Will offer a magnetic plate for the mini cut and emboss. I don't know. You know, right now we do not even have the one for our regular size cut and emboss. They had to pull it. There was some quality issues. So we don't have one at all right now. Okay, so let's keep going in this box. And you can see, look how cute these are. They fit perfectly. So now I'm going to take my white little tag, and I'm kind of doing a play on words here. I'm using my Queen Bee bundle, and I'm also using the Alpha Best stamp set. This has a coordinating punch. This is also a bundle. It's called the Alpha Best bundle. This is the best label punch, and you can see how this shape will punch out all of these letters and numbers. And there's also some fancier little stamps in this set that will also work with the punch. I'm not using the punch for this project today. What I did was I pulled the letters M-I-N-E for mine, and I'm going to do a little play on words, be mine. You know where the B is coming from, right? So I'm going to take my Sweet Sorbet ink, and all I did was I pulled these letters out of the stamp case. I lined them up on the bottom of my grid paper here on one of these darker lines, and just to make sure they were straight. And then I just took my clear block and pushed it down, and I had them lined up, and they may not be perfectly straight, but they're pretty straight. So I'm going to start by just getting this inked up, and I'm going to stamp this towards the bottom of this cute tag. Okay, so there we have that. Then I'm going to do a little bit of flecking, what I call flecking. And I like to do this with my Stampin' Blends. We have the bullet tip and the brush tip. I like to use the brush tip for this. And it's just going to add some color. And I'm just going to hit this like that, just to add some interest. And you can do as little or as much as you want. The closer you hold it to your paper, the more concentrated the little flecks will be. And now I'm going to cut, well, so now some of this I've already done ahead of time. I like to do that just to, I don't know, I just think it makes things go quicker. And I'm assuming that all of you know how to die cut, but if you don't, let me know, and I am happy to kind of go through that more, but I feel like you all know. Okay, so now I'm going to just do a little cluster. I'm going to attach my little sweet bee. This is the small bee from my favorite bundle, the Queen Bee bundle. I'm going to pop her up, and she's going to be right there. So be mine. And then I'm going to take, okay, here it is. It's buried alive. There we go. I have this tag, which is the gingham mint macaron, and I'm going to put these together. I'm going to pop up the white tag. I think I'll use the large dimensionals for that. So that's going to just go on there. And I love how these layer together. And isn't that cute with this extra little detail on the top of that tag? Okay, now we're going to do just a little cluster. These are all dies from the Queen Bee die set, Queen Bee bundle. I've stamped the little bee in Sweet Sorbet ink. And now I've cut a honeycomb, a little sprig. This is with mint macaron. And then I've used the flower dies to cut 2 small flowers and a large flower. And let me just pull this in a minute. So you can see this is the large flower, and when you die cut it, you get detail on the die cut shape. Same with the little flower. And then there's the honeycomb. I love that. And then here's the little sprig. Here is the little bee die for this small bee. And she's just cute. All right, so I'm going to get my box and just finish this up. And I thought you could do this whichever way you like. You could do it this way, but I thought it looked kind of cute this way. And I thought the nice thing about this was too, it doesn't hang over the edge as much, so you don't have to worry about it, you know, if you do it like this, getting bent or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually popping this up on my box as well. I have used these particular candy bars, and I'm just going to angle that a little bit like that, for so many different seasons. I used them for a Christmas project once and a fall. So this is the first time I've used it as a Valentine. So I'm using the sweet sorbet baker's twine. I'm just going to cut a piece off. This is from the In Color packet. This is a new packet. I had to get another one because I use it so much. I love these colors. I'm going to just tie a bow. That. And I do this often. I don't know. I like to pull my bows back like that with the loops going in the same direction. And I'm going to pick up a glue dot. And I'm going to build my little point of interest, I guess, focal point on this little corner here. So I'm going to attach that with a glue dot. Then I'm going to add some things around it. I should probably trim these a little bit. Okay, so there we have that. Now I'm just going to add my little sprig. I'm going to tuck that right under there, like that. Oops, I need to get my glue again. So I'm just going to put a little glue on the top and the bottom of this. And we'll just tuck that in there like that. I'm going to tuck a little piece of this honeycomb. And for this, I'm just going to dab a little bit of glue just on this one side here. The rest of it I'm going to leave loose. It doesn't really need to be glued down. It won't go anywhere. I'm going to tuck that in there. I'm just adding a little bit of detail. Okay, and then I have flowers, and I'm going to just take my fingers and curl these up a little bit. And I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to pop that up. I'm going to get my mini dimensionals out again. Put that on the back. I know a lot of you watching took my Queen Bee class, and I opened up a second round. I had in-person classes last week, and I shipped out the original packets for the people that originally had signed up, and then people kept asking about it, so I opened it up again, and those packets are going in the mail today. If you're local to me, they are on my back porch. I always do like a back porch pickup. This little flower, I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to curl these ends up, the petals up. So I know a lot of you already have this Queen Bee bundle, so this is just a fun little idea. And then this I'm going to just tack right on that baker's twine with my glue dot, just like that. And this is an extra one. I won't use that. I'll save that for later. And then to finish, don't you think this is cute? It just makes me smile. And then for my embellishment for the center of my flowers, I'm using the opaque adhesive back gems. And I just had my take your pick tool. Here it is. Okay. Oh gosh. So I'm going to use just a teeny one of these, the smallest size, and I'll put that on my little flower there. And then I'll put the medium size. There's actually 3 different sizes of these, so I'll put that in the center there. This one got a little bit There we go. There we go. Okay, so there is our first project, perfect for Valentine's Day. Be Mine. I think it's really fun, and I will share the measurements. I will be sure that when I post this on my blog tomorrow, I will make sure that I put the measurements for this so that you can make this box if you want. And again, you can get these candies just right at your grocery store. Ours are right there in the checkout aisle. All right, so now I have another project that I'm going to do, and this is just with one of these little heart boxes of chocolate. This one is real simple. It's easier to do because you don't have to make the box. Hi, Pat. Hi, Terry. Hi, Marcia. Oh, Marcia says it's so cute. It is cute, isn't it? All right, so for this, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I've already done some die cutting, and I am also using the Sweet Sorbet ink again. And I'm going to start by just adding, I'm going to create just like a little collage, just some little background interest here. And so I'm going to use the cluster stamp from the Queen Bee bundle. Just do a little bit of that on there. And then I am going to take this little flower. And put a couple of those on there. Oh, I don't know that that'll show. I think I'll maybe put one just right there like that. And then I'm going to fleck again because you know I like to do that. And I think it goes well with the collage look. Okay, there we go. It just fills in that white space, and I like that look. I should mention too that this stamp, the flower stamp that I used, actually there is a die that goes with this. This is my French stamp, but I'll pull it in. So this is the stamp, and we designed this to fit over the body where the heart is, the body of the queen bee, so that if you maybe want to do a flower on the center, just to switch it up a little bit, this flower and the die, you can cut it out with the die and it'll go right over that, which is just, again, it's a different look. So I did that on there 3 times. Now I am going to take this, just a piece of basic white. I'm going to stamp my queen bee. Hold on, there's a little piece of fuzz or something. Okay, so I'm going to ink her up and just stamp her. I think I need to angle her a little bit so she fits. Okay. I love the detail. I think she's such a pretty bee, which is what I wanted, right? When I designed this. And now I'm going to take the Mine again from the Alphabet set. And I'm going to stamp that on this piece. This is a small banner from these Stylish Shape dies. I'm going to put that on here. The nice thing about this being photopolymer, this Alphabet, is that you can see where you're stamping and you have a pretty good chance to get it straight. So there you have that. This large circle is also from the Stylish Shape dies. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but so that's all the stamping I'm going to do. And I am going to bring in my die cutting machine again. And find my plates. See what I do as I'm creating things, I have like this small little view here, and then I have all this stuff around me, and I lay things out, and then they kind of get buried alive. But here's what I want. So I'm going to take my cutting plates and this, and I'm going to pull out the Queen Bee die. And I'll just line her up. And what I try to do is look to see that I can see her feet through these little holes here. And I am going to use a Post-it note again, just since I'm doing this. I don't want to have to do it again. I'm going to make sure she's lined up. She looks pretty good. That'll just hold her in place. And I'm going to run her through. Cindy is asking the color. It's Sweet Sorbet. It is one of our new in colors, one of our this year's in colors. So 2022, 2024. Okay. Set this aside. Now we're going to put this one together. It's really, this one is a lot quicker, like I said, because you don't have to make the box. So what I did was I attached this like that, and I just used my glue. We'll attach that on there, like that. I actually picked this one because of the pink here. I thought that would look pretty with it. And then I'm going to take Miss Queen Bee here, and I'm going to pop her up with some dimensionals. So, Terry, the holes in her feet, those are for, like, if you're die cutting her. Well, what I think they're for is if you're die cutting her and you need to take, like, a pokey tool to poke her out. That's what that's for. Okay, and I'm gonna take my bone folder and just curl her wings up a little bit. I thought that would look pretty, just to give her some dimension. Okay, so we have that. Then I'm going to take some more of this Sweet Sorbet. Whoops. I'm basically using the same products that I used on that first little box. Other than the Queen Bee. I'm using the Queen Bee on this one. So I'm going to go ahead and just tack this down with a glue dot. Let's see if I have any more on this. Nope. Okay, so there's one. I'll just pick that up there. And again, I like to squeeze it and have the loops of the bow kind of going in the same direction, like that. And then I'm going to take the mine, so Be Mine. When I was making this, I thought, okay, I wonder if people will get it, if they'll know that's what it's supposed to be mine. But again, it's also fun to see that the Queen Bee is more than just black, white, and yellow like you would think of a typical bee, right? We can do a lot more with her. It makes her more versatile. So I'm going to go ahead and put that down right like that. And then I'm just going to add some embellishments. And I guess I'll just use the white. And again, these are the opaque adhesive back gems. You could do some of the other colors if you wanted to, but I'm going to keep this somewhat monochromatic. And I think for this one, I'm going to use the biggest dot because it's a pretty big little project there. Okay, so that is my second project. Now, it's pretty simple. If you wanted to, I actually have like a whole big bag of die cuts that I have used, that I've cut from the Queen Bee dies. And if I'm making a project, I just can sort of experiment and tuck some things under, like that would be really cute. You could do, this is the big spray. I call this like the wreath because you actually can do, I don't know that I would do this on this, but just to show you, like you could do 2 of these and then maybe put the Queen Bee in the middle. That would be super cute. You could also cut these if you wanted to tuck, add a little bit of interest. But I kept mine pretty simple, and I thought she was pretty cute. So I have one other, and again, these are, if you go anywhere where they have Valentine candy, you will find these little hearts. They are all over and very, very easy to find and not expensive at all. And it's nice to tell someone you love them. All right, so we have that one. And then the other one is this, and basically it is the same as this one. I made a lot of these for some friends last week, and it's basically the same thing. This is the little pouch of candy that is Also really easy to find. They have them everywhere. They're very inexpensive. And the only thing different I did on this was took a piece of the that gingham paper and just cut a rectangle shape to cover up the front. And then on this one I used a real red rhinestone. So those are my 3 projects for today. Actually, this one, it looks like this is real red ink, but I think that maybe this one, I think my ink has been used a lot. I think it's just a little bit lighter. I can't remember. Maybe this is real red ink. I honestly cannot remember because I did those last week. So let me bring in the 3 projects. Be mine, right? So here they are. Which is your favorite? I guess it depends on what kind of candy you like, what kind of candy you want to, okay, Sarah says she needs a refill on hers from last week. Yeah, they're really good. Really, really good. And you know what? Hold on here. Now I'm getting a notice that my power is low. Let me just plug this in real quick because I don't want to lose you. There we go. Okay. This candy's really good. This is really, I mean, it's all chocolate. What's not to love about it, right? So I hope you like these projects, and I just think it's a fun be mine, play on words. I hope that you will be mine. I hope you know that I appreciate you all so much, and hope this maybe gave you some inspiration because, like I said, I know a lot of you have the Queen Bee stamp set, and I'm so grateful for the response that I've had. It's just been so overwhelming. So before I go, I want to point out my shopping link, lauramilligan.com/shop, and this is my host code for January, which is going to be changing very soon. If you place a $50 order, of course, right now during January and February, you can earn a free host reward. A free celebration reward with a $50 purchase. There are bigger free celebration rewards with a $100 purchase. But if you use this host code, I will send you a little gift, and this month it is these really cute enamel dot essentials. They're basics. You will use them, I think, all the time in your crafting, and so that is my giveaway for this month with a $50 product purchase. And if you spend $50, you'll get a celebration freebie as well. So put those there. And okay, I'm going to hop back on just for a second. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you make and send a lot of Valentines. I think, especially with everything going on in the world right now, right? It's just nice to share love and let people know that you love and care about them. And I know that I'm blessed I have so many wonderful, wonderful friends and family, and I am planning on making a lot of Valentines this year and getting them in the mail, and I hope that you will do that as well. I will be back next week, Monday at 1 p.m. I look forward to that. And in the meantime, take care, and I hope you have time to be creative today. Thank you all so much. Bye-bye.